I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting tonight. And starting out, we'll look at the claims for April 2025 through May 2025. I'll take a minute to check over those, and then we'll ask for a motion to accept the claims in a second.
So this me and you, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put claims for last month. Yeah, I don't know how we do that.
Just like you just said.
So I'll make a motion, and then you have a second.
And I'll second. All in favor of this?
Motion carries.
Motion carried. Sorry. Let's not remember who was here. Okay, and then we'll move on. That motion was accepted, so we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. We're going to do the minutes from April 8th, the 2025 meeting, and May 8th, the 2025 meeting. Are we going to do that all in one motion?
Do we have the April?
Yeah, I gave those to you guys on the 8th.
That's why I had a steak and o just now. Oh, damn it.
Eighth of this, like, over fire department?
Yes.
I get what the hell?
Oh, you don't have those. They're here. You had the ones from April, but the May 8th ones are right there.
I have them at 8. I mean, I have them at 8th right here.
Okay. I can give you April at the fire department.
Well, I have everything from the fire department, and do you have 'em?
Not yet. Sorry, people.
No.
May 8th. That's May 30th. Or 8th. This is May.
This is May right here.
I have those. Or up a bit of meat.
You don't have Bristol?
Pretty sure they didn't get past me.
I'm not.
Well, I.
Or
And that. No. And we can make a motion.
So after the meeting, can I have a copy of these? It says we didn't get copies.
in here.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure that I gave them to you guys down.
Do you have a copy of this?
Is it me?
But I'll get them for you.
I do. I buy a little.
Right. So you need a.
I can't make a motion, but I can second.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. All right, on our list tonight,
We
First-
did a May 8th. We did a May 18th.
She did them all together. That's what he said was.
yeah, I'll do them all together. The agenda tonight, we're going to start off with Mark and Joy May. Do you want to speak?
We're just tearing down an old garage and want to get a permit to put up a bed along. So we just need town approval.
What? Dimensions are right there in front of you.
You have that?
Anyway,
Front of you.
So, yeah, I've got it.
I just made one copy.
I got this. I just didn't.
Over there and double lines be there, building.
We're going from a 26 by 27 to a 30 by 30.
The existing building's foundation's 4 foot off the property line. We're gonna move it off the line 5 foot forward, heading south.
But it won't be like mobile. I won't be able to move it.
No. They're still building.
That one was built in the 1950s for my grandmother. It's seen its day.
So we are really at this time we don't have a building inspector. We always use Rob Simon, but
I just prefer that you build it yourself.
We're gonna have contractors come in and put the foundation in the slab. Then they're coming in and setting the building.
did you see this?
Yeah, I'm right out the other here. I'll be on with it.
I don't have any problem.
Then we check the county. Everything's got to come through the city.
Yeah. I mean, you want to approve
I'll second. Motion's been made to second that we approve the building permit. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, now we're going. Quentin, you get the floor.
Well, it's been a pretty quiet month as far as we go. We are rearing up for the big project this summer, though. We finally got our parts in for the repair for the phosphorus injector down at the well house. We're gonna do that next week. We had Living Waters come in, inspect and maintenance the chlorine. We thought it was getting a little clogged up. Chlorine levels dropped a little bit, so we had to full maintenance down. Everything's running good now. Chlorine levels are back up to what I wanted to be. There is one issue. We've been doing the vent valves out on Highway 1, as well as people have seen. We got one that is flooded with sewage. Teddy said they've had work done to a couple of them, and they sealed the whole pit, so there's no drainage at the bottom. We are gonna need that generator. I know Dwight said he was going to give us one, but he isn't going to give it to us anymore. So we need a generator for our pump to pump that out. I know I can borrow one, but I still want one.
On the wish list.
It was going to get approved a few months. Dwight said that he was going to give us his, so we just forgot about it.
Have you got a price for it yet?
I think it was around like $900,
I'd have to pay, but I think I got it there.
and that was, I forget whether that was Harbor Freight or Lowe's.
I think there was.
I'm there one way.
Yeah, it was, I think 600 watts. It was 6 or 8. I forget which one we ordered.
Yeah.
It's just more suction like this.
Well, it's
staying running.
the suction's not staying. It loses suction and it quits pumping. Tried to mess with it a little bit. It's not working. We had when he come over, he messed with it. He couldn't get it working, so we went out and got an electric pump, and we were going to get that generator.
Oh, we got money for a generator?
Well, sir.
They need it.
I don't need it. Like tomorrow, I'm not going out and buying it tomorrow, but it is something like in the near future. Yeah, I'm gonna want to go pick up. Like I said, when we go pump this hole out, I can borrow one, but I don't want to borrow one off of the private resident more than this one.
Oh, trash pump.
No, it's just a little electric pump, like a water sump pump. Put me on the spot. I forget what brand it is. It's a good one. We've used it. Pumping out that pit. The fuel tank is next to the garage. Yeah, we pumped that a couple times with it, so it's instant. We just don't have a power source out on high yet.
I don't care. I'll spin go push button.
No. No. Let's spend those one.
Well, you might as well go ahead and buy the generator.
We've got money.
Yeah.
She said with you.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor of the generator? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Aye.
My apologies. You were supposed to be next. Are you finished?
Yeah, thinking about you're gonna get that better down there. You don't let him go.
Sorry, I'm sorry, because you were supposed to be next.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Yeah, time to read out.
It's time to go now.
Yeah, the bike here, the dead bike half, well, gonna let you go.
I understand. I've got some letters here that are from the membership to you guys that can be, kind of read as you see fit. Here you go. White's not here.
You put it in this thing.
Okay, so you just read them as you see fit, whatever. Run totals for this year, we're looking at fire, we've had 12 calls, rescue 35 calls, 14 NVCs, one hazmat call for a total of 62 so far this year. So we're actually, we're trending right in place, if not up just a little bit from what we were last year. A couple things I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm gonna hand this to Amy. They don't have to. There's that. Well, it's not Bill. Not yet. So I got these two, and then I've got something that I wanted to. Here it says here. I had 6 of these made. There's that, and we're going back to the radio. I know you got one, but I'm gonna get to you. Chris, you don't want. I'll get to that.
And not go back for being paper.
So anyway, these are back on the radios. It is a new quote, and this quote here is $3,000 cheaper than the one you had previously. What I wanted to talk about with this is there's 6 mobile radios for our apparatus. Wayne County currently is in a transitional phase. The towers are being built as we speak to go from VHF to 800 megahertz. It's not going to be too much longer, a few months. We're not going to be communicating with Wayne County Dispatch if we don't upgrade. So what it amounts to, like mutual aid partners, the other departments around us, they've already been proactive, purchased the radios for their apparatus and everything else. Now, the county has allocated mobile radios to us, the ones that we carry on the fire ground and stuff like that. They did not allocate apparatus radios. So there were some questions there on how we should handle that. We have been in contact, actually Chief Bartlett was in contact with the county to find out, what we could do as far as that. So we need to purchase the mobile radios for the trucks. So I had this whole spill, it's like our concern is twofold. First we have several truck radios that are not working, or not working right. We are in southwestern Wayne County is in a hole. I mean, literally, we're in an area where Wayne County has a north tower and a south tower. They cannot even hear us in 75% of our coverage area with the radios we have now. So Wayne County a few years ago had no plans to go on 800. Now all of a sudden they're transitioning over. So there's a tower being built at the county highway on 40 just west of Centerville. I'm not exactly sure how big that tower is going to be, but 800 megahertz allows us the ability to bounce off the tower in Connersville, tower in Rush County if we need to, Henry County if we need to. We'll get the surrounding counties, and we should be able to communicate with our apparatus and our personnel anywhere with the 800 megahertz system. So as you guys can see, Matt and I, Chief Bartlett and I apologize, recommend the 4-year on that. This is going to make us NIMS compliant, and I don't want to dig into the weeds or dig out a hole any bigger than I need to right now. And you guys are more than welcome to call and ask questions or anything like that. But it really, what it does is this is going to put us on the NIMS roll and make us NFPA compliant, because NFPA, we are an OSHA state, but anything OSHA says, anything NFPA says, OSHA soon follows, especially when it comes to the fire service. But this will make us NFPA 1221 and 1225 compliant, meet OSHA standards as well as the National Incident Management Systems, which is our mutual aid partners and stuff like that we have to follow. So as with the fire department, when we have good communication, that is more points for us on ISO rating. It's been a lot of years since our ISO has been evaluated here. Our ISO rating currently is a 10, so you guys are paying as high as fire insurance as you guys can pay. So as we improve little things like this and gain points when we do an ISO revision, or they come in and check our ISO rating and they do that scoring with us, it is our goal to hopefully shove our number down, down is better, over the next year and a half or so, and then that savings will go on to the taxpayer. So instead of you guys paying, and I'm just using this as an example, if your insurance is what, $2,000 or $2,500 a year, that could save you $300 or $400 a year on your insurance when our ISO rating approves. So Matt and I are just asking for things like that, but communication, we will absolutely have none with Wayne County, and we will have none on the fire ground by the time this is all said and done, which puts firefighters' lives in danger and everything else when we can't communicate with each other. So the 6 radios, that will cover our trucks and our base station there. As you can see, the quote went down $3,000 from the last one. This has been brought up before, but Chief Bartlett wanted to put it on hold because of the other stuff, and finding out what information we need to on what we could obtain and what we couldn't.
After all. Yep, the 6.
So I don't know how you guys do that, but the 4-year, you can see what that is. It's what amount was it I give you guys all at the 4-year? Yeah, 55, 12, 34. There's actually, I think there's, with the interest rate and everything else, if you did the 4, it's actually a savings to the, to us to get that. So that's how much it would cost us to get those radios. These 800 megahertz radios are not cheap, as Brandon can attest to that. VHF radios are really cheap, but like I said, once Wayne County switches to this 800 system, we can't use VHF anymore. So we've got to get those replaced and get those in our trucks. Now the thing of it is this could take 8 weeks to get these radios. It could take them 10 weeks to get these radios, and I'm not exactly sure when Wayne County is planning on implementing this, but I know as of January they were expecting it to be 7 to 8 months. So now we're pushing the 5th month. If it takes them 2 months to get to this, now we're in the 7th month. This comes directly from Matt at EOC. So Matt came.
You guys install these, or they have to?
We are saving the town money. We're going to order them. Brandon, that's what he does. So he's actually going, I'll let you talk about that in August.
Oh, IPSC.
Yeah, he's going to IPSC class, which is, you can talk more about that. That's your.
Oh, I was staying up though.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, IPSC's the communication part of that. Is they cut all the internet and the public safety. I got into a programming class with them, which is usually like $600 or $800. So working with Matthew Kane, I'm gonna help program the radios as needed and stuff, save some money here and there, and just do it. Yeah, you'll learn a lot, and I think it'll be valuable for us to. We'll do it.
What catches us really on the cost of radios is the fact that through IPSC, these radios have to be approved through them. There's only a certain style radio, certain brands of radios and then we have to obtain an ID number for each 800 megahertz radio that's out there. So that's all free. He's actually getting to go to the class for free, and we are going to install them for free. That's only cost right here is the actual radios. So that's on that. So, if we could get a vote on that.
Where's the rest of them? Oh, here it is.
Sits right there on the grab bot.
It is the same company that they got equipped from.
It's the same finance company, but it's not. We're actually, Stephanie messed this up, Jeanette, and she left J&K on there. Matt I think he got with her, but it's getting switched. It's actually going to be Tech Electronics out of Richmond. Yeah, so
J&K is not in.
and J&K's not it. No, they were like $3,000 higher. J&K was.
Tech is who we use for all.
Yeah, and we've used Tech in the past. It was just originally J&K was cheaper. Now it's flip flopped. Several months later,
Is this 5,000?
yeah, and these are better radios. Than
Is this amount yearly?
Yes.
Annually? Not
That-
monthly?
That's annually. That's the annual amount.
Divided by 12.
Yeah, with the interest included. So like I said, if we got approved tonight and we ordered those, we're still 2.5 months out, and this system could be up and running in 3.
So have you talked to the township?
We have not, because Matt and I are under the condition that we come here and get approval, and then the bill goes to the township for that. But they have allocation for equipment. So,
Or this is all one. Normally, we have to approve it, and they have to approve it. But what if we approve it and they say no? You're fine. They won't pay their half, we won't do it.
We won't be Loxy 7 months?
No. That's good for those township.
Unfortunately, this is something that probably they have to have. I mean,
It is.
there's no communication, so that means no trucks roll out of that fire department come.
This was the same thing as gonna do a couple.
I mean, they'll roll out, we just won't be able to talk to them dispatch. I mean, what happens when we roll out on a vehicle crash and we show up and it's a tanker with ethyl methyl bag crap that's flipped over in the middle of the interstate, and we've got no communication with anybody. But Matt and I and several of our members are already using their cell phones to call dispatch. And it's bad here. I mean, this has got to be our fast. We got no choice.
But I think the other cities are township.
Oh, yeah.
I think when the township understands that it's an absolute that we have to have it, I think they'll just,
I think they'll do it, I just don't wanna speak for them.
yeah, I understand. Yeah.
We got money.
So since we're out of time purple, it's a time thing, but I'd be happy, yeah, we both waited on another month.
You've got money in your budget?
Jump is not just
They
there.
have,
Do we have money on ours?
yes.
Yeah, they got money.
Yeah, they have.
You mean on the township?
No, you have money sitting right here in this little,
Oh, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying.
in that little box.
I don't get to see the budget, so I will, but,
That.
But out of the 18, we're only responsible for like the $9,000 some dollars.
correct, over 4 years.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
plus,
we're going to be like $2,750 a month. I mean,
A year.
Yeah.
yeah, $2,700 a year. And it guarantees us communication with everybody we need to. And again, like I explained, this makes us NIMS compliant, it makes us NFPA compliant, it increases, it improves our score over there, which decreases the ISO rating, which improves the public, anybody that we serve, their insurance rates, everything else, so, I mean, really, it's a win-win situation, anything that we're asking for at this point in time.
I make a motion with for the radio to our fire department.
I have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
It's with the stipulations of
With the stipulation
Washington.
of township.
How soon can we make that contact, Amy?
I'm off tomorrow, so it'll be Friday.
So is that whole thing coming out of their town budget, or is the township helping?
Township.
Township, yeah, pay half of everything they do.
I'm still not quite sure how that works, so yeah, I was just asking.
We're a different animal than you are, Queen.
Yeah, you're all their half of them.
Yeah. So another one of the things that I have, so you got the application, right, Amy?
Yeah.
For that, okay. So that can be getting worked on once you talk to Ken. The other thing that we have, our engine 2 over there, the master intake gauge is not reading correctly. These guys took it to ESCC in Indianapolis for a weekend advanced pumper class. These guys can draw more water. Brandon and 3 other guys, including Scott Adams, that just passed away, our line of duty death that we had here a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now. Went to that class. They can get more water out of the hydrant than probably I can. I've been doing this 28 years. But they found some things that are wrong with the truck. Master intake gauge needs replaced. Master pressure gauge needs replaced. The backup alarm's not working. The deck gun is leaking and gasket replaced. There's no convex mirrors on the truck, so you can't see taking turns or anything like that. But I got a quote for that. Total from THL for them to come down here and take care of every bit of this for this truck and get it back up to par, to where when, again, ISO comes down and inspects all our apparatus, pump testing, all that other stuff that we complete, we will have a truck that is good to go. So that will give us 2 working pumpers to improve that score.
Which truck is that?
It's engine 2, it's the Freightliner.
The one that you bought or the old one?
No, engine 4 is the international.
Okay.
That's the one we're running primary right now.
Only two's the other one.
And 2 is the Freightliner. 2 is the one that we took to Richmond that carried Scott. So that's 2. So in the total for that, all those repairs to get that truck back up to par is $2249. Get that done. And I've only got 1 copy of that.
I gave
Yes.
it.
Oh, you get it to him? Okay. Perfect. So,
Money to that.
yeah, that, like I said, that's gotta get, if we get, if engine 4 happens to go down on us for some reason, we don't have a backup engine, you know, so. What else do I have?
You said there's money for it, Philip.
They have money in their maintenance and repair. I couldn't think of the word.
And the money will be put back in next year's budget, or?
Yeah, and then we'll get half of this back also from the township.
Later on, depending on how low, those, how low 25.
Like I said, they are, you know, I guess the townships have the responsibility, you know, so, and I mean, if we don't have an engine that operates properly, what I don't fight fire.
Y'all have to work. I make a motion with on township approval.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, you guys went into this together, correct?
Well, actually,
This town. No.
the lot the township owned was the white and red on the door there, so town acted on those of them.
Both the ones now?
We on all walked the number 2 and then we on half of the other one.
Number 2 was originally bought by the town.
Yeah.
And it's number 1 that we're,
Number 2.
So it's number 2 fits engine 2. Engine 2 was bought by the town.
But that's still, township still paid that.
When I first came on Milton, we had the Freightliner, which is engine 2, and it used to be engine 1.
Yeah.
They moved it to engine 2, and then they bought that cab over, which ended up having a hole in the tank, all kinds of other stuff. It's the one we got rid of. So, but when I first came on, we had that old Ford cab over, which was the township truck.
Yeah.
And the town owns the Freightliner engine 2. That's who originally bought. So I don't know how you guys are working that out now. I've never been told 100%.
Sorry.
But it is
Everything's 50.
50.
Yeah, okay.
But it's our fighting over who paid that work.
Perfect. But yeah, but that truck was bought by the town.
so I've had a motion that we approve that.
I make a motion, we approve them township report.
Hal? Yeah. All right, I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
I,
All opposed? Motion carried.
One last point of business that I had, and then I'll sit down, shut up.
Your case is getting cold.
You, I do not want.
What's that?
Case is getting cold.
We want to do a record of agent change for Provident Insurance. Provident Insurance is where, you know, we get our accidental death and disability. These rates for first responders are set for the state. I'm not gonna speak for the police department, but if I were you guys and they have Provident too, I would highly recommend the same thing. As you guys know, Scott Adams was considered a line of duty death for us. He responded on a motor vehicle collision on Pennville Road. Ended up not feeling well, had a cardiac event, and died from that less than 24 hours after the call, which in the state of Indiana classifies as a line of duty. Now we are dealing with getting the benefits for Scott. The agent that we want to go to specializes in first responders and carries the same insurance. These rates, from what I understand, are set by the state, and the amount is set by the state. So there should not be any rate increase, rate decrease, nothing. It's just that we would have an agent handling our insurance that specializes in first responders, line of duty deaths, injuries for first responders, everything else. I have spoke to this woman on the phone multiple times, and she is Johnny on the spot. She does not even have our insurance right now as an agent, and she has called me multiple times asking us what we need to make sure that everything goes through and clears out. So wonderful, wonderful person. She actually put me in contact with the president of Provident Insurance, and I've spoken to him on the phone, along with some other of their claims agents that have been absolutely wonderful. So we don't want to take away from anybody, but we do want to do a record of agent change, and all that does is just move that insurance to the agent that specializes in the first responder insurance for that.
Oh, same company.
Same company. It'll still be Provident. All it is an agent change. You see what I'm saying? We're going from agents that don't handle first responders to an agent that does handle first responders, law enforcement, fire, all that other stuff. So if we ever have an issue, this agent specializes in laws, the state statutes, everything else that goes along with first responders and their insurance. So, like I said, you're not changing insurance companies. You're just going from one agent to the next, and all that does is you do a record of agent change. So we're requesting that as well tonight. So I believe, did you get an email with all that information for that other person? Okay, I could get that to you, but
So the agent we have now is not working out. Is that
Phil Bummer Falls.
and that's what Lawson Bowman Falls.
The all falls.
What'd you call it that you're asking for an agent what?
record of agent change.
Other town business adult, then they,
Huh?
all our interests are through that.
Yeah.
My check with Brad to allow the factor F and for insurance.
it should, I mean, you're still with Provident. I mean, you're just changing.
Agents.
Agent.
Agents.
But some companies give you a discount for all of it, where they, you got all your insurance well and they cut your rate.
You can't cut your rate on that one. That's set by the state.
Not on that, but on our other insurance.
Yeah. And we're not we're not asking to move anything else.
Right.
We're just wanting the agent that specializes in first responders, which is beneficial to us. You know,
I agree with you, John. I just want to see how the factors.
I really don't know if it really has, if it does affect us. What I mean, if Bowman and Thalls can't handle taking care of a serious situation, then we have to change. I mean, if somebody gets injured or death again, if he can't handle it
I agree.
in any aspect, something has to be done. I mean, they should be covered.
I just want to see how it affects it.
Well, maybe I'm missing something, Josh. Maybe there's some behind the scenes, but I haven't really heard you say, did something happen that would make us question the representation we have?
Well, we were trying to prevent that situation, but there's been multiple phone calls made to the agency that we use now, and the communication is next to zero.
Okay.
So we have actually had to jump through that, go to somebody else that introduced us
I
to the
would say-
president of Provident and other
I think there
places.
would be a 90% chance that we had your back and support you on this.
Yeah.
The only thing I would add to that is I'm not able to speak intelligently about it because I don't know anything about what we have in terms of our coverages and things like that. If they're directly tied to you, to the fire department, if they are, I'd just like to glance at it. But I mean, what you're saying sounds pretty reasonable to me.
I don't have any record of that insurance company. Like,
Can this be like everybody be represented, or is it just
Provident, when you look at Provident Insurance, it's got a fire hill at the top of Providence. It mainly affects us at the fire department.
If you switch, can the whole town switch if they do still offer the discount for one, or is it just the fire department and the police department?
I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if the police department, so that's a question for her. I don't, and no, unfortunately, I don't know because I don't get into their business.
One would think that we have lines of coverage that include where combat, accident, death, disability,
Same as us.
talking about,
Yep.
that we all sort of share. So there is a little bit of a bigger picture before we just say, let's cut those. Because as one of you mentioned, maybe we should add that plus we have other lines of business too.
Well, I understand, but you guys also aren't dealing with a line of duty debt that we're trying to get the benefits for right now. Can't get it done because we got an agent sitting on.
No, I'm not. Listen, Josh, I'm not disagreeing with you on any of that. But I'm saying it will affect us.
Right.
Get it clear.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
And I understand, you gotta understand, we're a little bit emotional losing stock. This was a big hit to us, but we're having to do 10 times more work than we should be to get this done for them.
There's something to be done about it.
I don't know if it really matters with your agent as long as you keep the insurance. I mean,
I would
like,
think so. I would.
I mean,
If it's truly all the same policy, but are we on that policy? Or are we not?
And I'm not to argue with you, Tom, but do you want, if it is the same policy, do you want an agent that's not gonna handle your claim, or do you want an agent that is?
Here's what I said to you initially, Josh.
Right.
Not only can I not argue or would argue with you about it, I can't even speak intelligently about it.
Right.
All I'm saying is before you make a move of that magnitude, I'd just like to know if it does affect us. And if so, it probably isn't going to matter anyway, because I'm probably going to be very supportive of your cause.
Yeah,
So hear that loud and clear, but I can't speak on it because I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't even know if we have the same policy.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying is, can we have a
That's why I
date?
said we just need to check and see what we got and how it's working.
Well, I wanna know how long that's gonna take, because we got a family that, that needs to be taken care of. And there's more to that story, and I'm not gonna speak on it publicly.
I sent the email today.
You got something?
Me afterwards, so it might be something I can talk to you about.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, it's Provident is more for like you guys, like if something happens.
Just don't know. That's
No, I'm just saying if it's for EMS, first responders, police. So if you were out of work or became injured and unable to work, you don't know how bad or good your insurance is until you need it. And then unfortunately, we need it. And so as an agent, no matter if he doesn't know his stuff, he should be working extra hard
For sure.
to taking care of things.
For sure.
And when there's a lack of communication, that is like the worst.
Well, I really hate to say it, but the claim was filed with the current agent and done incorrectly. So they've had to relay it back to the fire department.
So since it's through Provident now, and you're just switching, can the new
Pretty big problem with the agent.
Yep.
still process it?
Yep, absolutely. We're not changing companies, we're not changing coverage, we're not changing anything. Only thing we're doing is going from an agent that doesn't specialize in first responder to an agent that does. So like I said, even if law enforcement, the police department is on that, You know, we're going from an agent that doesn't deal with first responders, that's more, you know, commercial insurance or your house insurance and knows nothing about first responders and the statutes and how much money you're owed and everything else, to an agent that does know that. You know, because I mean, like, you know, line of duty death benefits, you're going to get an X amount of dollars that's set by the state, plus every dependent that you have is going to get so much, you know, and if they find out there was other circumstances, that amount increases from that. Where the agent we have now doesn't understand that. But the agent that we're trying to go to is part of Provident that specializes in the first responders and getting our people, members, brothers, sisters, family members, every dime that they're owed if something like this happens.
So can they continue with the claim?
Yes.
As long as we get the
Yes. It doesn't change anything. All it is a record of agent change. It's just taking it from this agent and handing it to this agent. You know, that's all it is.
Is there a form that we're supposed to follow?
She can send that form to you guys.
Okay.
And that's absolutely all it is. There's nothing. It's just a record of agent change that allows that agent to deal with us. You know, and like I said, she's been joining. She has texted me 3 times today. Is there anything at all I can help you with? You know.
That's like who it is.
Huh?
Who is it?
She's out of Crawfordsville, and it is Lana Huffman. She's the agent for them. So, and Provident does a heck of a lot more than just our life insurance and stuff like that. The insurance they deal with, they underwrite fire apparatus, fire trucks, law enforcement cars, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, down the road, maybe it's something we could look at and then, you know, have one hell of a savings to the town compared to what they're getting now. I understand supporting local, but I also understand supporting the people that are protecting you day in and day out. You know, I don't know very many insurance agents that are going to come down here and slap on an air pack and go get your kids out of the house. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean to put it that way, but it's just, it is what it is. I think it's time that we benefit them and we benefit us too, because we're the ones that are here protecting you guys all the time. You know, we've got a lot of guys going to school. This fire department has improved 200 times compared to what it was before. As a matter of fact, I'm finishing up arson investigation school this week, so just another certification of my arsenal. So
Our arsonist just moved out to.
what's that?
Our arsonist just moved out to.
Okay. Well, what was the arsonist? No, there's other investigator on the department too. He's just not here tonight. So, but like I said, it's just a record of agent change, and Lana is ready to send that email as soon as I told her. She said, "Do you want me to send it?" I said, "Let me get approval from the board tonight, and then I will let you know to pull that trigger." And all she has to do is send it to Amy. More or less, it just has to be signed, and it just goes to somebody that specializes in that. The thing of it is about this record of agent change, it will go from us fighting every bit of this by ourselves and making sure that this family is taken care of 100% to that insurance agent taking care of 90% of it for us. So we have the time to actually mourn our brother the way we should instead of having to be buried in paperwork up to here, which we are right now. Because for those of you that don't understand, a line of duty death puts a lot on the department, a lot on the chiefs.
Amy, have you tried to contact the current insurance?
I was on the phone with Matt for about 2 hours today, and as I was on the phone with him, I was emailing, and I didn't get anything back before this evening. Nothing.
Maybe why the current calling.
When the incident happened, I called, and the people that I've heard from since then is IPET for the workman's comp. Matt reached back out to me today saying I just can't get him to answer. And so I sent an email while we were on the phone, and I said I'll check it before I go into the meeting. No response. That was this morning.
My question is how long does this family have to wait? Because we got an agent that won't return calls. If it was your family, you'd expect them to be paid immediately.
Yeah.
I would. And if we have to wait to see if there's a discount, now we're waiting on another month.
I need you guys to.
Well, if it's the same company and all we're doing is moving agents, that should change it.
Yeah, I understand, but they can have a save the problem.
No, we probably would just email.
Yeah, do the same thing too.
What is it?
If you don't have to have another meeting to approve that, then, you know, but
We can send an email, I think, and get that approved if we don't approve it tonight, to change, record of agents.
Are we gonna, how long I understand what Josh is saying. What if I don't receive anything by tomorrow? He's,
So let me throw this out for consideration. I don't know if this is something you need to vote on. If it has no financial ramifications, any other ramifications. So I think you might get, Chris, maybe you can speak on this. I think you might could get yourself in a little bit of a pickle if you're trying to, something you should vote on, you should do that. But this is something that sounds to me like Amy would just take care of as a normal business, right?
If you change anything, you have to do it by vote.
Change anything mean what?
And
You're not, there's no financial, there's no nothing, you're not changing insurance companies.
Well, there is though, because the agent, one agent is not going to get their percentage anymore. It's going to go to a different agent. So you're purchasing through the same insurance company. So I would say that you would have to have a vote on it. Could you do a special? Yeah, you could do a special meeting, you could do a conditional vote, you could do a vote saying that if this isn't resolved by a certain time, I think you could give Amy the authority to submit the change of agent.
We're out of time. I mean,
So unfortunately,
more or less.
they've tried to contact, you try to contact, and nothing.
multiple. They've contacted way more than me. They've been on the phone with trying to get and emailing. I copied in all of that multiple times with no response.
Have you tried to go down there?
I have personally. I don't know if Matt has, but I've been. You're talking 3 months of phone calls. There's been things, and I know Scott happened 2 weeks ago, but we have been trying to contact them for 3 months over different things. Like, what do we have as far as coverage on our trucks? Are they at value or are they at an agreed value? Things that chiefs that run the department need to know, and there has been zero.
Is this reference to work comp claim piece of it?
Huh?
Is this accidental death?
No.
Or is it the work comp?
That he's talking about now that they wanted to know some information about the trucks and the
I'm talking
outlets.
about the agent that you're trying to reach out to that's not communicating. Which line is that?
Yes.
Is
He
that
takes
work
care of
comp?
all of our insurance,
Yeah.
all of it.
And do you know, has an adjuster been assigned?
I just got assigned a claims agent yesterday.
And that's why I'll no doubt communicating with you now, because it's all going to be sitting in the agent.
They haven't communicated, so I can go.
But they
back.
haven't communicated for 3 months.
Yeah.
I
made the phone call. I made the phone call at the time of death. They've made phone calls with no response back. They've emailed with no response back.
I think this guy's, that's a.
This is something that
So we
have to protect our people.
So we contacted this woman that is the same insurance company. Nothing's changing, no policy change, and she specializes in first responders, and she has been on my hit this week. Been on my hit, literally. Just all you got to do is ask. And like I said, today I was in an arson investigator stool today, and she texted me twice today. Is there anything at all that you need? Anything. So I'm not going to wait another 3 months for this family to be paid. I'm done with it. That's where I sit.
Chris, what's your recommendation?
Well, legally, I think you have the authority to do it if you want to. The question would be, do you want, what I think we don't know is what portion of this can be removed? Can you remove just the first responder part of it? there's a bit of an unknown here, and
Yeah, well, I don't know what all we're covered under
Yeah.
the Provident, but as far as the forms that we have, is the line of duty and that accidental death and dismemberment or whatever, is the only thing that I know of that we have on that Provident policy.
So, I think what you could do for sure would be change just the policy that they're concerned with. I understand that all of your insurance is through the same agent now. I mean, that would be a possibility. To me, that would be a shot across his bow saying you're not doing you're not doing what you need to do for this community if you're not responding to a situation that occurs when there's a death.
Well, if they've been trying to get along for 3 months, that's no risk.
That's a different issue on top of
I'm all about supporting local, don't get me wrong. I mean, if Amy was selling strawberry jam, I'd buy off Amy, but the first time she cut me off, I'd go back to Smucker's. I mean, this is ridiculous, you know, I mean.
So when that Provident so if something happened like a death, workers' comp, or accidental, is that for town employees too and for the police?
I don't know. I've never been handed a breakdown of our insurance at all, ever.
Do they mail you a policy?
No. This is a policy that's been just going and going and going, ongoing. I just call, add drivers, take drivers off.
Yeah, so
Add equipment.
That's kind of my point. Is it might switch just by circumstance. It might switch everything over, and that might not be the wrong decision. It might be the right decision.
yeah, but they're probably not going to cover our buildings, like
I think they do.
I don't know.
I think they did.
they cover
That's the correct
everything.
insurer, right?
Again, it's hard for me to speak with any intelligence, but I just feel like I have in the back of my mind that they cover like the
Everything.
buildings, they cover the
Equipment.
vehicles and equipment. So our liability insurance, general liability insurance umbrella, I'm pretty sure they do that. But when it comes to work comp and the accidental death, dismemberment, those kinds of things, I have no idea about that piece. But I would think if we're getting breaks on rates, I would think they cover all that. None of that to me, again, this is what I told Josh, none of that to me is important if we're not getting what we're paying for. But you do have to know what you're getting before you start whacking stuff. You know, I mean, you got to know. That's just the bottom line. But that to me, that's a phone call away. If the person doesn't answer that's our agent, then you call whoever he or she works for. If that doesn't work, I'll have happy to go down there and say, we need to talk to somebody. We need to talk to them now.
Well, maybe then, and you can ask for, if you call, ask for what the policy, like the policy, actual policy, if it's,
Today, we want a copy.
yeah, and we will be picking it up.
We'll be picking it up.
We'll send our officer over there today to pick up a copy of all of our policies, what we have in place, and a breakdown.
I don't think, especially if they've been trying that hard to communicate with them and nobody's.
Can't you wait it before the end of the day tomorrow?
Yep. Then there you go.
I'm gonna guess that it's not a small amount of money that we're paying this insurance company either.
If I'm right,
So
everything.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I doubt we have more than one insurance company covering this, that, and the here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe do we pay more than one insurance company?
No.
Well, you pay one into
You're paying-
company.
you're paying one agent.
Yeah.
Well, right.
And that agent's disbursement to whatever insurances you have underneath.
If they're a brokerage.
If,
If they're a brokerage.
well,
and
Bowman
not
always has been, all my life.
So so he gets it, and then they might have
If he's
Provident,
independent, yep, that he's farming it.
auto owners.
Yeah.
There's
exactly.
all different. There's hundreds of different kinds that he could insure under.
I just whatever solution we come up with.
I say,
I just-
my opinion, with what is going on right now, I say we do this agent,
Record.
Record of agent change.
yeah. Because they really need to get this family taken care of.
But then you have to watch it so they just don't drop us. Cause I mean, like, he could just drop us.
Yeah.
But then there, like Chris said, it's like shot across the bow, maybe he'll wake up.
Maybe not.
but maybe not, and he can drop you, like, cancel you. Done.
And then we gotta go find insurance.
The agent?
I,
How can an agent cancel you?
I don't think the agent, the insurance company can, and I don't think there would be an intent to it. I understand what you're saying, but I think it would be the insurance company that would drop you. And I don't think the agent would do that. I think the biggest problem, and not having complete sympathy with what you're all going through, is if the council votes to approve this change of agent, we don't really know at this point, or you don't know at this point, what effect that's going to have on your overall insurance picture. It might change the whole thing, so you don't have a local agent. That might not be a bad thing. That might be the right decision. So I think in my opinion, I mean, I'm trying to keep it in the legal, because I'm not one of you. I don't even live here. Just from the legal side, I'm looking at it and saying, two different problems. One is this agent actually supporting the town the way the agency should. Two, the separate problem, the much more urgent problem, is getting the family paid. That's why I was saying maybe I can jump in there and help with you, because sometimes when you get a call from an attorney's office, it could get a little bit more attention.
Yeah. It goes a little farther than the court trade.
Well, it just, if they've already assigned a claims adjuster, I'm not sure that changing the agent, even though, again, that might be the right thing to do for the city, I'm not sure at that point that it would speed things up. It would be nice, though, if you had somebody that would actually answer phone, particularly under these circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, we should be able to call down there and be like you just said.
But you shouldn't have to call. He should be calling you.
Yeah. And honestly, this other agent that I'm speaking of going to has been doing that.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going to do this for you guys regardless. She said, because this is right. This is the way it should be. And she said, and I'm sorry that you're not being taken care of the way you should be. She said, so I'm going to make sure you are.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it sounds like she's done it. And I just think in my mind, my legal mind, if you will, there are two separate issues. The one issue is, who's going to be the agent for this town going forward if you're not being supported properly. Right. The other is, let's get the family paid the way they should be.
Yeah. It's just like I said too, the other benefit to it is this agent specializes in the first responder, and so.
And it may be possible to split some of these up, but it might not, and it might not be desirable. Maybe it's desirable to switch altogether if you've been having these other issues.
And it might be such a thing that looking at this may save the town more money than what they think. It could. Yep.
Could be.
I would just recommend against an emotional decision at an emotional time over just get all the facts that you need to have all the information to make a good decision, but still push forward hard on getting the current claim paid.
We are, and there is some paperwork that we're waiting on that should be in very shortly. That is requested by the insurance company.
Okay, and again, if there's anything I can do to help, or if I can contact the insurance company or the agent, I'm happy to do it.
And that's another concern of mine. Is how was there a claim filed when none of the paperwork that is even needed for that claim has even been
No, because
done?
the only thing that I said to him was we've had a line of duty death on the fire department.
When I talked to the claims agent, they said there had been a claim on it. It was done incorrectly. It's been kicked out, and she sent me all the paperwork. And so it's all printed out, laying on my island, and I've been little by little chiseling away. But like I said, you can't. The type of claim that we have requires documents that haven't even been received yet. And it's not our holdup.
Yeah.
It's a holdup of paperwork that hasn't been completed, and I'm not going to speak on
You
that.
shouldn't have to complete that. That's your agent's job, is to complete that for you.
Yeah.
They might have to go to you to get information, but you shouldn't have to fill out form after form after form.
And currently that's what we're doing to
And
make
that's
sure
what-
this is done.
That's what I did with iPad, because Matt had the answers. I referred her to Matt, because I'm not going to sit there and tell you that this, or this, as I don't know it.
Yep. Like I said, I just, it's been 3 months of other things too, and now we're sitting in a dire situation. And, you know, being you're right, some of it is an emotional response, you know, for what's going on. But some of it is also the fact that it's time that everybody here at Milton is supported the way they should be supported and have people on their backs that will support them the way they should be supported. And, you know, if it takes a special agent like that is going to do that, then I'd say that's what we do, you know. And like I said, you may benefit moving everything to that agent. Who knows? I mean, it's worth an ask. And she said that she would be more than willing to come down here and have a meeting, you know, talk about anything, you know, let you guys know what she can offer versus what's going on there. And, you know, so.
I just sent another email. That's what I'm gonna say.
I think tomorrow maybe a phone call, either from the attorney or from you, Amy, requesting like policies
That's
of
right.
everything.
That's the email.
Because if they do look at other things like all around, they'll want that policy so they can match up their make it comparable. And if there's no communication, I mean, you've sent 2 emails, and if
In 24 hours, less than
if
24
you
hours.
or Chris, one of you guys call and there's no communication, and there hasn't been, then we're gonna have to, even if we don't change everything over to Provident through his agent, we're gonna have to find different insurance.
Yeah. On that call twice, I didn't answer, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'll get it from
Yeah,
there.
when your house burns down, if your insurance company, if your insurance agent isn't taking care of you, you find a different insurance.
I mean, you know, I got an uncle that shops for insurance every year, you know, and he always finds it cheaper, you know, so he switches it up, you know, same coverage, same everything, but he goes to a different agent. And he's like, well, I'm sorry, unless you can match this guy, I'm going over here, you know, and, you know, just because it's always been that way, you know, and I'm going to be honest, in the fire service, that's what we say. The most dangerous words you can state in the fire service is we have always done it this way. You know, sometimes there has to be a change for the better, you know, so.
So maybe they need a call tomorrow, somewhere.
Yeah,
I'll have the attorney do that. Yeah. They're not gonna answer. I'm just gonna go.
The agent, right, is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's because you.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot that the company can do at this point until they get the required information, but.
Right. But it just seems funny, like I said, there's been no returns. There was a claim filed, that they couldn't even file it without the paperwork that's required, and they tried that. So what's going on here? You know, line of duties, and I don't want to get too personal, but line of duties are a different animal, and it really takes somebody that understands those, you know. So it'd be, you know, it's just a different animal, and we need somebody that understands it on both law enforcement and our side, you know. So whatever benefits is what we need.
It's like kind of like, you know, what coverage we have, because.
You wonder, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this event's probably going to make everybody kind of sit back and go, well, let's take a look at the whole situation. What do we get? You know, what do we have?
This is
What
the
do we
first
can,
one
what do we
ever.
can't?
I mean, you're looking at, for all aspects, town employees, police, fire, all Milton people, I mean, that are working, I mean, police, you're in a hole and something happens, or another fire and something happens, I mean.
The gas chamber.
Why do know? I can't speak for law enforcement side. I've never been a cop, never had a desire to. No offense, you know. I'm a hose dragger. You know, I've always been, you know. So, on the fire side, I do know that the amount that is paid out on line of duty is set by the state. You know what I'm saying? It is a. Here you go. And then whatever insurance you have may stack benefits on top of that, you know, depending on what you have, you know, but I just want this taken care of. You know, we just spent, it was an absolute honor, but it was probably the worst week that I'd had in I don't know how long. And I don't want to do it again, but I want to be prepared when it does, if it does. I understand we're small town USA, but it can happen right here just as much as it can happen in Indianapolis or Cincinnati or Chicago. You know, you don't know. I was telling it to go off here in 5 minutes and that truck roll out and hit 1 and 40 and a semi just, God forbid. But now you've got 3 or 4 that's sitting in that truck you're having to do the same thing for and an agent that won't answer you back. So I'm done with them.
So we'll do a call tomorrow and
Okay.
try to get an answer out of them that way. And then we'll get your back with you.
Yeah. The sooner the better, yeah. I'm not trying to be pushy here, but it's just that we gotta. And it's just like anybody. There's
I'd be pushing about it for today.
Yes, have they received anything yet? Have they received the state money yet to help them get over? Nothing. Okay, see.
there has been some support from Supporting Heroes. Gary since
Right, no, I don't mean that. I meant more of the, I don't mean the charity type. I meant the more of the actual statutory and insurance and that sort of.
Yeah, no. Nope. So, I mean, even Gary Sensei, or however you say his name, Sensei, that Lieutenant Dan from
Oh, Gary
Force
Sinise, yeah.
Sinise, however you say his name. Sorry, my family's from down south, so yeah. But he's even reached out, and they are sending them a little bit, you know, from him. So, yeah. But yeah, that's the bulk of that, you know. We had one, and I don't want to keep going, but we need to get this fixed, and I'm going to tell you, I couldn't, Chief Bartlett, myself, I know Amy's said it 1,000,001 times, she come help with food, did her part. I couldn't be more proud of what our fire department did to honor Scott Owls.
That's the truth.
And for those that missed it, but it was just, there were career departments there. There were guys from Minnesota, Wisconsin,
The cancer,
Indianapolis,
the cancer rider.
the airports. Yeah, they come from miles to support.
It was amazing.
And there were career firefighters that said they had never seen a volunteer fire department put together a line of duty tribute that well. So,
It's a lot of work.
yeah, I don't.
A lot of hands came together.
All right, so tomorrow we'll get moving on this.
Oh, but you don't know where you're from.
Yeah, let me know soon, Foster, please.
All right, guess we'll move on then.
Thank you.
Tom, are you gonna give us an update on the police department?
And let me know about those two. The regular engine 2.
Did they vote on those? Oh, all I gotta do is,
We've only on
Where you been?
sorry, during your speech, I got an ocular migraine, so I couldn't even see my screen, so I'm hoping that I typed it in
You're
there.
trying not to get emotional.
I had it on my eye just to be able to see.
I appreciate you guys letting me talk. Like I said, you're just let me know whenever you get that information, and
I sure will.
I'm gonna kick out and what I'll have before for the next hour. I got to get us.
No, that's fine. Telephone fiddle with you. I will.
So thank you all. If you need anything from us, you know how to get a hold of us.
Yeah, and I'll share your phone number.
Okay. The what?
I'll share your phone number.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Chris. If you don't get a hold of me, I got a spam blocker on my phone because they get spam. Just leave me a voicemail or shoot me a text and I'll call you back. Yep. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
So I'm not going to get too into the weeds on the metrics, other than to say, you know, it's funny with us, and I'm sure it's this way everywhere, but specifically with us because of the combination of ordinance violations and normal summer traffic and things like that, daylight lasting longer. It just our workload doubles as the weather gets nicer. To that extent, you know, we went through the winter, maybe an ordinance violation or 2 a month. You know, so we're working more traffic in OWI and things like that. We've done this last month probably easily up close to 20 ordinance violations, which includes warnings and violations. So it's been a very, very busy month.
for those kinds of things. So you'll see. Do you all see the ordinance violations unless you ask for them? And you're welcome. You're welcome to see them anytime. I mean, there with everything. And now it's been enough time that now we're going back and violating the ones that we warned that didn't abate, and the ones we did violate and didn't abate, we're going back with second violations on those now. So that's kind of the time frame we're in. There was arrests for picking up of particular interest. We took a gentleman with a good amount of methamphetamine living in the woods about half a mile from your house, Joy. So obviously that combination when you're living in the woods behind people's houses and could you call it being doing crack or methamphetamine or whatever kind of drug you're doing, there's always a danger that you're going to get the money for the drugs by breaking into people's homes. So we had a very big concern there. We had a couple of other drug arrests. Matt had a very nice arrest here recently as well. So business picking up lots of drugs, and OWIs will pick up significantly now. OWIs is something that both Matt and I have some advanced training in, and we work real hard at trying to take impaired drivers off the road. So you'll see quite a bit more of that. So that's all I'm going to say on the metrics. Unless I missed something. Okay. Another thing. This is kind of a special moment for me. One of the very first things that I attempted to do when I got hired was to get our organization involved in OPO, or Operation Pullover. It's a federal grant, and for us at the time specifically, but always as it's very applicable, it was desirable because what it does is this federal grant compensates officers that go out and work on grant time, and the federal grant pays for all the time. So essentially you're getting police presence during those hours and patrol, and you don't pay for it. It costs down anything. So unfortunately I spent 2 years jumping over hurdles that just made it impossible. But we finally got over the last hurdle, and the time has come. We're in the OEO grant. We're going to partner with Centerville, and that's I think advantageous to us. They're an organization much like our own, and I'm really looking forward to working with them on the OPO grant. All that means to us, to Milton, is that we share the same bucket of money, of federal money that it goes through. So in order to do this, you're going to get an opportunity to vote on an ordinance. This ordinance everybody has to do it. It's just an ordinance that allows the grant to be funded and paid through. In this instance, it's going to be 2 towns, both Milton and Centerville, is how I understand it. So that's what we're going to ask tonight. And Chris, you've already seen the ordinance.
I have seen the ordinance. I didn't have any issues with it.
Okay. So again, that piece of it's not special to us. That's just a part of that housekeeping of getting involved with the OPO grant. So good news there. And that's really all I have, unless you have anything else.
No.
Matt?
You call it OPO?
Operation Pullover, which is a very general term. I don't even know that it's appropriate anymore. That's kind of what it's always been called, OPO. So what it will do essentially is during these block grants that you'll go out, like maybe this month's will be seatbelt violations, so you're going to go out here, you're expected to meet so many stops or contacts, as they call it, per hour in order to be in compliance. And as long as you're in compliance with 2 stops, you're really twofold. You're providing that patrol time within the community and those contacts within the community, but it's being funded by the federal government. So it's a neat program. We are, to my knowledge, the only ones that aren't on it in the surrounding area. Yeah, but
It was a small town.
yeah, it was small town. So, it was a long road. So there we are, and that's all I have.
All right.
So, you guys gonna be working more, or just that you were
So
get paid?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So Operation Pullover is overtime. It's overtime, but in the end, but you don't pay. It's all funded by this federal grant.
More police prisons, no more money spent.
It's kind of a no-brainer. But I'm glad you said that. Is I forgot to bring that out there, right?
City Gator.
Well, now,
That's the grant. That's the grant.
that's nothing that's not what the town will pay. That is what the grant pays.
That's the contract.
And that's set by the federal government, not us.
But that's for full-time employees, right?
Yes, full-time employees on there, which back in the day was one of the stoppers. And after we got through that, as we had just, I'm not going to get off in the little weeds, but it was just one hurdle after another. We kept tripping and falling down. And it's been a long time coming, but
When do you go full-time?
How many shifts you got left?
How many days?
13 shifts.
He's
How quickly do you need this to be done?
as far as
Well, we're just talking about the procedural aspects of adopting the new ordinance.
it has taken us, the short answer to your question is, Chris, it's taken us 2 years to get to this point. We're okay.
Assuming that I'm not.
Two readings.
Yeah, there should be an initial proposal of the ordinance. Somebody, a town council member should propose it. Then there should be a reading of the ordinance. Then the next month you have a second reading of the ordinance. You can suspend, as we did the other day, we can suspend the second reading and the rules which allow people to stand up and speak on it. You know, in this case, you get more police presence for no money. I don't think too many people are going to be speaking against it.
Up for the breath here.
That would be the standard way of adopting an ordinance like this.
He asked me and I told him we're done.
But that's destitute a quota, right?
No, not really. Only in contacts. So we don't have it right now. They do right at USF post. We just go on board.
You know, we could talk more about that, but that's how I would recommend doing that. I mean, because Amy had contacted me about doing some training, just on parliamentary procedure and the requirements for this sort of thing, and I'm happy to do it. We're not there yet, so I'm not trying to, crush the procedure that you guys have used in the past. I'm just saying that, if we're trying to, push it in that direction a little bit, this one be a pretty straightforward one. We could do a proposal tonight, post it, preferably put it on the website too, if that's what you could do, and then you could have the second reading at the next meeting, and opportunity for public comment, and then you could do the vote to approve.
And hopefully Delight and Cedric would be back. Have more.
And it's always better, particularly that we have a full.
So do we make a motion for a first? Huh?
You need to read it.
Yeah. So somebody.
We have to read it, or
Literally, it's supposed to be a reading. I mean, you can waive that, but I mean, but somebody needs to actually propose the ordinance. Part of that would be the reading of the ordinance. This one's pretty short, so I don't think anybody.
Yeah, I'll read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is, and if you think about it, this is why, like, for example, it's recorded, because that way anybody any resident of the town can then get the information on what's being proposed, and then if they want to speak for or against it next month, they know to show up.
Okay, so this is the first reading of the Town of Milton, Indiana ordinance number 51825. Whereas the Council of the Town of Milton adopted ordinance number 51825 on May 13, 2025, which establishes the salaries of police officers and other certain civilian employees working under the police department during 2025. And whereas the Common Council has determined that a special overtime rate for officers working overtime shifts focused on traffic safety related duties and the enforcement of traffic laws to incentive officers to perform this additional overtime work. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Council of the Town of Milton. Number 1, traffic safety and enforcement detail overtime rate. Any sworn officer that works a pre-approved overtime, full or partial shift that is focused on traffic safety related duties, the enforcement of traffic or motor vehicle laws, or pre-scheduled traffic related events as directed by the marshal shall be entitled to receive an overtime compensation rate of pay of $52 per hour. Repealer. All ordinance or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Severability. Any provision herein contained which is found by a court of competent jurisdiction to be unlawful, or which by operation shall be inapplicable, shall be deemed omitted, but the rest and remainder of this ordinance, to the extent feasible, shall remain in full force and effect. Effective date. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon passage. And then it says, adopted by the common council of the town of Milton in this certain day of 2025. That's it.
So now what do we do next? What's the next step?
Well, I mean, so since you did the reading, I would recommend that you would propose that
So we propose a second reading, a second,
you're just proposing the ordinance, and we're not voting on the ordinance. You're just accepting the proposal. So then that gives the clerk the authority to post it, and you know.
okay, so I approve the reading of the ordinance and the proposal of the ordinance.
Yeah, you would propose ordinance
I would propose ordinance number 51825.
as read.
As read.
Okay.
And now you'll go ahead and you should take a vote on at least the proposal, that it can actually be then posted, and it'll show up on the agenda for the next month's meeting.
Okay, so Junior made a motion that we accept the proposal, and I'll second the motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. All right. So now you have a proposed ordinance. That'll be read again next week. Opportunity for public comment, and then a vote.
Is that how any ordinances now that they change is approved?
That should be the way generally speaking that are done.
Oh, man.
Those are pretty lengthy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, you got yours did. She sold that in one page. We're good.
I was like,
We'll start accident about reality. Already trust.
Don't matter if they get passed or not, just make them read it.
But you can see they suspend that, that's
why they
technically
suspend
that's the
second
rule of in, Congress too, but you get a 2,000 page, bill, they're not gonna sit there and read the bill.
So now they can suspend both the first and the second reading.
But they can, it's, for something of this length, I would recommend it. Suspending the second reading in the rules is typical when you have something that is not controversial. If nobody showed up to speak against it, because if you suspend the rules, then people don't get to make comment.
so the next month we'll do the second we can suspend the second reading, and then we can approve it if there's nobody
Sure.
to obtain any.
Yeah, if there's nobody that shows up to speak against it, you don't have to go through a second reading. That's where you just do the motion to suspend the rules and to approve.
Okay.
Awesome. Are we ready to move on? Are we ready to move on?
Yep.
So we're going on to unfinished business. The McAllister pulled the repairs of generators at the road station.
I don't remember, and I couldn't find it in our minutes or the video, if we approved the days for the generators. Which we do know.
It was like $6,000.
Yeah, did we approve it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What about it?
Yeah, the 3,000 one, the 3,056 for the portable unit.
So what we were charged in one visit could have been our annual fee.
Was it how much?
I think it was 6,000 something a year.
It was a weekend plus.
Emergency power. The other one's 3,098.
Have we got anything with with somebody to come and service them on a hourly?
I haven't been in contact with them ever since. They're supposed to contact me when they're coming back to do
We
the
still have Bruce's contract, but we don't have.
repairs because they need repaired a little too. So.
Yep.
This is just servicing though, right?
This is everything that come into place.
Oh, so they haven't fixed it yet.
And then the other one needs a bull cage. Knob.
Yeah, they bring it down, removing every gasket, every belt, every V clamp or clamp hose is right cleaner.
Well, hopefully, if we have them at least come in and do a inspection once a year, then maybe our bills won't be so high every year.
I agree.
That we can keep them.
And that's what I figured we were going to set up anyway, but like I said, I still haven't heard you back.
Well, that's what we got a quote or something.
I know more.
Annual.
Yeah, I have a quote. The book I found the quote that from August 13th of last year. That doesn't mean that it's still binding for this year.
But wasn't it like $6,000 or $7,000
It's
a year or something like that?
for 5 years. It was $7,966
A year.
Yeah.
3 years. Yeah, a year for 3 years.
For 3 years.
Huh?
Not too many people are going to work on the cut.
What do they do? It's not really.
It's our-
That's not my business. No, I know what that is. It's just.
They that's what they do. Those two things. We have 2 different generators, 2 different locations.
So this is for the sewer pump, right? That's on Lil, on one in Lloyd State, right behind Nick Elger.
These are emergency generators, right? Normally they run off of power, land power normally, and this is still for the lithium if they get power. Which you don't want that backing up just because you.
We started.
Yeah, she tell you what it's all about.
Call them because we couldn't even get them to start up. One of them because of the fault because of the coolant, and the other one was the fault because of the regulator gone.
Yeah.
Did that kind of work on those benefits?
Yeah, they fixed.
They got them.
They got him to run. He filled up the coolant down at that main lift station, but that one still needs a hose. The hose is expanded. It still needs work done. Yeah. They just got it running, and where we would be able to, start them up if we got to.
Have you tried it to start them since?
It's been probably about 3 weeks.
But they started?
But once this one runs low on coolant again, I know I can fill it myself, but it's not going to start because that sensor's going to fit that up.
Because there's a leak.
Connected leak on that one. Every time it starts up, it's supposed to start over once a day or
It's supposed to do that.
cycle at least once a day. And every time it does, it loses the bacon.
Can you come back, fix it? They'll come back.
Not until I tell them to.
Gets kind of
Not until I tell them to. I'd like to see if they would give us some new contracts since that one was for.
I think if we were, I think we can try to get a new contract. But like, if we pay it up front to get those, maybe.
To know that it was paid up front.
I mean, no, but if we pay this to get it fixed, maybe next year it only gonna cost $2,000 for them to come in and check things instead of $6,000, and maybe it'll just be cheaper because they're not replacing everything at one time. Because when was the last time it got serviced?
Before us.
Before us.
Right, so it's been years. So if we keep maintenance on it, then it shouldn't cost as much money, hopefully. When
They
they,
cost them, they have to remind me with it.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna cost, but it's not gonna cost $7,000.
I forget when we first put those down, that group's down like $7,000 or $8,000 a year per surge. Well,
Yeah, that's the thing is not that many people work on those, so that's why they charge so much.
Right, but I mean,
Options.
all those repairs shouldn't be needed every year.
Well, not every year, no.
So hopefully it won't be as expensive. And plus, if we have a contract, I mean, for $1,000 more, we could call them whenever we wanted, you know, and have them fix it. Because we've already spent $6,000 some dollars of our contract. Well, it's outrated, but
So let's get another contract.
Yeah. Just get another contract, see what they.
it's about $10,000 now.
I know, yeah.
And they should never gotten that shape again.
They're out of business.
Yeah.
Go down, talk to the kid personally, fire him. That's all I'd say. What's his name? Here was for him.
You say? The Baltimore Fire Department.
That's his son works for McAllister.
Yeah, ik probably wouldn't do it.
Be a good side hustle.
Yep.
He might.
So I took a note and I will get an updated contract from them.
Okay.
Just to see what it is. I mean, we'll still have, if we want it, that they're not going to issue that contract probably by this.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I was still giving him back fix him on the
Cleans change.
You're not going for Mexican.
Oh, I'm not going to Mexico.
We can come around section the OBC.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so also under unfinished business, we've got that flagpole at the clerk's office. What was?
So I got this in the mail conveniently the other day. Their 2025 catalog. They're not cheap at all. This 20-foot tapered in some kind of aluminum is $523.99. It can withstand 75-mile-an-hour winds. The next lowest one is $242.99, and it only withstands 35-mile-an-hour winds. I have looked.
Folded up. I mean, the other one's shot.
Oh, it snapped.
Yeah, it's.
I can't believe I got the same one of my house. I never take it down.
Well, I think it was the wrong insulation.
Yeah, because it moves.
It was their installer.
Oh, well,
It kept walling back.
Put it in the wrong place.
Tight.
oh, it was loose in the hole.
They didn't fill the bowl up once they put the pole down in there to hoist. So it kept going back and forth and just snapped.
And I can't find pole. We pull into a wrap. Can't find poles.
I know, over free. I'm in,
And they didn't have any.
I know,
Junior looked, they didn't have any.
I thought they had them on my green
And then trying to stay away from those telescopic horns. Again, trying to get a solid fold up. Yeah, and that's why they're so expensive.
So that's something that just shoot in the back here did that it needs to be done.
So like Phil there, Dwight will tell you every time, like that one I didn't see those thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and that one needs flat raised back.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you wanna see what
Yeah.
And I'll leave it the planning committee on the farm too about how much those are going to cost. We didn't even really talk about that. The flagpoles for the new property.
Oh, flagpole. I'm gonna see it.
We haven't discussed
It
it.
hasn't gotten that far.
Were there any other council updates that we need to go through or not?
So I was just going to bring up, so we mentioned the other night at the meeting, last Thursday about the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So afterwards, on my way home, I checked the sidewalks that's been done. So if there is a wheelchair that's going down that sidewalk and they get off that sidewalk, they're going to tip.
Are you talking about the sides?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not.
They haven't even filled them back in.
Yeah, they're not. None of them. And the ADA, so the one in front of the church, Lane West, like
On the corner
in
itself.
the corner, it has like a probably 4-inch to the road.
Okay.
So it's not really ADA compliant even because there's such a big.
The jobs aren't either bad. That's ready to upset about most of the state left.
Has he responded
Instead
to
of finishing
anything?
No.
what he started.
Right, he didn't even finish he did those sidewalks, what he's done, but none of them's backfilled or
Even solid more.
Grass seeded,
That's the
backfilled.
thing. I done 2 houses. They painted 2 houses. Not yesterday. Okay. I don't know, maybe yesterday. Is it your Monday or yesterday?
Yesterday was Monday.
So we did do it yesterday. These 2 houses right here. And we should be compensated from the company that did those if we're going to use our dirt and our seed.
That's not true.
It's not.
No.
But they're responsible, right, of backfilling
Back
those?
together, yeah.
Depends on the contract.
Yep. Bruce made the comment to them that the town would take care of backfill.
But is it, was it set for the contract?
I'll pull top.
So they pay for an unfinished contract.
So I mean, who do we call if Christian doesn't ever respond?
This girl right here.
So another point on the water department is I need authorization to start buying dirt. We have no good soil.
You have a lot of sidewalks to backfill.
Yeah, and we need good dirt. We can't use the stuff we have out there.
We ain't using any from the school because it's full of brick.
Oh yeah. We'll get it taken care of.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna have to have dirt because actually that's more of a hazard than probably what the sidewalks were.
No worry, son. My son will want to do. When I put the cardinal in the dirt of my son, all that castle come off that hill. Like all you.
I mean, those sidewalks set, I mean, there's a 2-3 inch gap and that they're about 2-3 inches high.
They get all in touch with on the shooting, no.
Where did we find Christian at? I mean, he was for years. I could. Somebody asked me the other day who hired him. I didn't know.
He's another one that you text, call, email, no response. So I'm gonna send Bruce's, I want to send Chris the contract and the info.
Okay, well, we're doing the course on.
And how much have we paid him already?
17 out of the 90.
And then another thing is, did you call Duke?
I did not.
So,
Randy came in today and was talking to me, and he said that he'd like for everything to just stay to standstill to figure out what's going on. So we need to have another meeting where we have more than a half an hour to discuss
I didn't know if you called in regards to like
the lights.
No, you know, because they have those bills and they don't know where the locate is.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Nobody can help me do anything. I called that.
And then, so when there's lights out, how do I? Because I have
You can go
You
online.
can just call Duke. Or
You can go on Duke.com.
I know.
Or their service thing and just
Give me the address.
Indiana, and then it'll ask you the address or tell me, text me and what streets they're on.
Yeah, because both Cherry
And I can find them.
Go give them a phone.
whole number. Okay, because Cherry and Carterville and Seminary and Cherry are both out. So I'll try to call them though. I'll try to get on the website and
It's really easy.
I'll try to get those poll numbers and do it.
If you can't find the poll numbers, then all you have to do is bring it up on GIS, on their GIS, and then click on it.
Because it's really dark on that. Because both ends are.
That's easy.
Just get your flashlight and some fishing line.
I don't care. It's just that there's kids that play on that road that.
I mean,
So you had a report to get.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm gonna harp one more time. I still need the ordinance updates and the employee handbook. And
We need to just do an executive meeting and sit down and just go over all of them like we did, like section by section. We within half an hour we did 2 or 3 that one night. So we just need to do that and get it over with.
it needs a date. And then AIM is offering, I think it's AIM. I don't know. think it's A, offering a council members budgeting seminar on the 16th from 9 to 12:30 if anybody's interested. They're also offering one for the court treasurer May 15th from 9:30 to 3. If anybody wants me to go through that seminar, thank you. Also,
Not a webinar, or
yeah, it's a Zoom.
What day is that?
The 16th is for the council members and the 15th is for me. And then a few months ago, January, I think, we went to Lincoln High School for the Forward Wayne County meeting where we prioritized things that needed to be done in town and so forth with Acacia St. John. It's called the SIP project list, which is the Wayne County Strategic Investment Plan. The things that we put on the list and that were of importance were Old School Community Park, sidewalks, new utility garage, and blighted properties. And then the second list of priorities was, first thing, if this is what people that were there, citizens that were there, made these decisions. What the priorities for. So the number one was the fire department, warming station, generator, and improvements, painting and windows. Cemetery was monuments and gates. Small park has some repairs on the slides that are where the coating is coming off. It needs to be repaired. Water pumps, a mural on the Masonic Lodge, and the weather alert system. I already marked it complete because we got it back. Do you believe, this is a question that they asked me that I'm bringing, do you believe that these are the things that we need to prioritize and move forward with SIP?
I would put sidewalks up there.
Sidewalks is number 2. And number 2, Old School Community Park, getting that finished. The top 2 are what we've already received money for.
yeah.
So we had to put those
what we
first.
started.
Yeah, finish what we started.
Is that euro? Is that going to be paid for by Esther and Son?
No, they have a contest every year. That's where you see all the banks and all the big buildings in Cambridge. They're everywhere. We had the opportunity, but we just don't have anywhere to put one. With that buildings on State Highway.
Well, they seem to think that you could get more money if you had like a little community center built with a garage attached to it. Like, I found that odd, but that's what they said you would have more chance of getting grant money. Because we don't really have a community center.
So just so you know, this is what we were told to do there at that meeting, and every single thing that's on here, all 5, have 4 stickers to show of importance. So 4 of us went up there and we marked, these are the top things.
Go with that, Kurt.
Yeah. And then, just so you know, the community project priorities for the town of Milton, where it was the fire department, the repairs on the small park cemetery and that stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 went to the fire department and 2 went to the cemetery. Small park, water pumps, mural, and tornado siren didn't get anything.
So the cemetery, we don't own the cemetery though, right?
Nope.
That's White Rat lawn.
And then we were asked the assets and opportunities, set different things like parks and recreation, arts and culture, revitalization, tourism, childcare, housing, infrastructure, business development. So we had to put dots on all of that. I mean, we're pretty, if you look at the dots and you think about it, we're pretty busy right here in the heart of downtown. But we do have things that are outside of town that are not, that need worked on and need things. So we need to really, I need to email them back or we're gonna miss out on everything. So I just need somebody to tell me, sure, we'll do that. They're not asking for anything, they just wanna give us a strategic plan.
So parks and sidewalks, you have that on your list.
Yeah, that's top order priority because it's our ongoing project.
I would say the cemetery, we don't own it, so that's not
But
their
it is part
responsibility.
of this town, and it is an important role of this town. Yep, relies solely on donations.
Right, but they have, I mean, there's a cemetery association that,
We have a board of 4 people,
right,
that's it, and we ask for donations. And it takes all that we have to pay for milling every year. So there is no extra money for gates or anything extra.
I agree that there, in my opinion, only because I own property up there. I agree that the gates should be put up. I wholeheartedly agree with that because I don't know how many times my family has put things at my door and then now it's all missing.
I don't think if there was gates that would stop that.
That it probably wouldn't have. It would slow, it would deter pulling in. There used to be, I don't even know right now. I don't even know. Is there still a farm gate up there?
First,
Off a cemetery?
no, off the old school road. Old school.
The one big fancy gates.
Old school, off a cemetery road?
There's no gate there now?
Cemetery, on Cemetery Road there is.
Yeah.
But it's not the original fire gates.
But is there a gate still on Walnut?
Yeah. Okay, so
Well, then we just need to lock it.
are you gonna let Target lock him back?
No, I need, I don't. You don't know.
Man,
I don't think so.
there used to be,
There used to be one there.
I don't.
we used to go out walking on Sunday.
There used to be a gate because my neighbor that used to live across the street from me, that was his job.
Very well.
He passed away.
Oh, yeah.
No. And then another thing, as you know, as Josh mentioned earlier, I was asked by town council that if we have any large invoices, that I'm to bring them to you. And I'm going to tell you what the PO says on here, and then you can say yes or no. The PO is for their funeral Class A's that they did not have, or nor did they ever have. So they Class A'd every single member. Josh? Every single member?
Yes.
Got Class A's. The total is
So what's Class A?
Class A is the dress uniforms that we wear, so, like, I don't know if you were there, but like,
You can work your feet.
so this is my profile. Well, this is a picture from the funeral. See the uniforms we wear? Those are the Class A uniforms that,
So I just want permission to pay these 2 bills that we have. One's $3,165. That covered quite a few people. Like 4 or 5 pages of people.
MES did us a huge favor that week and get us massive discounts
Yeah.
to get us covered for that.
And they did this the day that they were all down there for the open house for the family. The other one's $1,872.91. I just want your permission to pay.
Do we get that back from the thousand?
You sure will. You sure will.
Does that stay with the fire department or does that go with the?
What it'll do is each member will have them, but if that member is excused from the fire department or leaves the fire department, then it stays with the fire department. So if we get another member that stuff fits, it will go to that person until they, yeah, those are actually issued. They're not owned by the member. You know, just like the blue shirts, we just ordered them and the badges and all that. It's all issued. So if they leave, that all goes back to us and then we'll go into, you know, storage until we have somebody that it fits and then it'll be issued to them. Yeah.
All in favor?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, this is not on the same subject, but did you get a chance to change that lock on the gate?
I have not. We need to.
Several says people are dumping everything out there. They're
Because
not.
people are dumping whatever. They're not listening that it's only for yard waste.
They dump
Had a
dry.
gentleman back up to it with a whole truck full of drip driving.
So do we need to just put our little trail cam out there when they film things that aren't allowed? We catch their plate and fine them for it. Somebody had to get in the
I will tell you, you will get in trouble. Who you'll get in trouble with if you don't control that is environmental quality. As it's Ohio, not Indiana, but Lockheed ran over there, got in big trouble with Ohio DEQ for that sort of thing, and it cost them thousands of dollars.
I'm going to yield back to town employee company who's up in there or the board member.
We used to take turns on the day out there outside here. I'd sat out there, man.
I've been with me.
You line to this.
They just had to get pretty much, had to call me or something if they want to do it.
James, what can you do?
Am I allowed to revisit something? Just real quick, Central Tower is down with Wayne County Dispatch. We just got a notice on that, so we have zero communication with dispatch at this time. So that's just another point towards that new radio system,
This just happened?
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
That's only the VHF though, right?
Yeah, that's only the VHF.
So I'm going to ask you a question. When you say that goes down, does that take out the weather stuff, everything, or is it just?
Anything?
Yeah, if that tornado siren cannot receive a signal, then it will not go off even if Wayne County's trying to set it off. Now they can call us and we have the ability to set it off from the fire station.
And that works now?
Yes.
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
Is there any way, I don't know about Con, but at least for myself, I like to work during inclement weather for whatever reason.
Yes.
Is there any way that you can get with us, show us how to set it off? If this happens and county's like, hey, there's a tornado here and you guys are, you're home, or you got a member who's at home, we're already out to battle.
Right.
If there's a potential for us to get over there and set it off,
Yeah, I mean,
warning.
I don't see why not. And like I said, I'll state this. I've said this before. I'm not the chief. Matt Bartlett is. I'm just a deputy chief. But that would be a quick phone call with him, and that would be adding a code to you guys to the door, because we have the door code now. So every member's got their own code, and we can actually go in there and see who's been in the department when they've been in the department. Of course, it's unfortunate that's the day we live in.
I know.
So. And then we can remove their code if they quit or.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just a simple phone call and that could be fixed. Yeah. And then we could show you how to do that.
That's the big thing. I think if I remember right, Bartlett set us up a code for the police department. I don't remember if it was. He gave me one, I should say. I don't know if it's a police department one or if it's a.
If your VHF, you have VHF radios in your car?
I do, yes.
If you had a VHF radio in there, all it is a tone. And what they do is you could have it programmed. Yeah, you could go to Milton Tornado Siren or Milton Siren, and then just hit the function key, and it sends that tone right out and spins that thing. Or you can do it from your car.
Is that something that Granger can do?
Possibly.
Because I know, like, my radio right now is from the county. We got it with the car.
Right.
And so it doesn't have any of the fire frequencies in it either. It has the dispatch channel, but it doesn't have any of the TAC channels either.
Right.
Not that we use them often, but at least until we get the system changed, maybe getting those added in along with that tone ability.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that could be done. The only thing, is the way that sets, it sets on the fire department shoulders, so it'd just be one of those things that,
No, I understand.
it would have to hit that certain alert with the National Weather Service and everything else for that.
Went down there and just set him off.
What's that?
Well, I mean, we're responsible just the same.
I would not let him just down there and set that.
Right, I'm just saying that, but the one thing I wanted to go back to is, back to the insurance. I just spoke to Lana on the phone outside. She said, are they still meeting? I said, yes. She said, go back in and tell them this, if it's okay. So I spoke to Lana on the phone. If you can get a hold of every policy that you have currently, Provident does not write municipalities. They only write fire department. And she said there are special considerations with Provident for law enforcement too, so they may have it as well. But as far as your buildings and everything else, absolutely not. That's probably through Travelers or somebody like that. But the Provident only does the emergency response.
When you were talking
That's
earlier
all it
on the
does.
broker, that's probably what he is. He just purchases it.
Did you fill out a beneficiary form when you came on?
Shoot, I don't know.
Probably not. Honestly, that was under a different administration.
We'll bring it down and we'll file it for you because we keep track of ours. So anyway, but Provident, that's what they do, is they just do the first responders. They don't write municipalities. I don't know if you guys need to approve this, but would like to come meet Chief Bartlett and I and you on Friday, 5 o'clock. And she said if you have all the policies that you have written with them, and I'm just telling you what she said, this isn't a change or nothing, but she said what she would potentially do for us this year is you could do a record of agent change. The money that you've already paid out will just stay that way, and she'll keep us for the entire year, and then she can do requotes next year with different companies to try to drive the rates down. She just have to pull run losses and stuff like that. And it don't have to happen. The only reason she needs to know what policies you guys have is to see if she can write those policies or if you would have to stay with Bowman for another year on certain policies. So it's just all I'm asking for in that aspect is just meet with her and see how much the town could either save, not save, or what we need to do to take care of that. So, but she said she could be here Friday at 5, and she wants to meet at the fire department so she can see what our assets are for at least the Provident insurance. So if that's okay with y'all, I don't know if that needs to be brought to a vote, and that's why I'm coming back in and saying that. So
It's just another beat.
okay.
So you said that she does have a side for law enforcement?
She said they can. Typically, they don't, because she said don't. She said, quote unquote, don't quote her, but she said in the law enforcement is in aspect its own animal, and there's state things on that. But it is Indiana state law that the fire department has to have that type of insurance through Provident. So she said she can't look up that policy because she is not the agent. So, I mean, she could see what our policy number is and give that to me, but she can't see in the actual policy because she's not the agent. But she said as far as she knows, and as far as what she can tell, the only people that are really underneath the Provident are us, the fire department. So, because it is state law that we have to have that insurance. So that's where they got it through, was the Provident insurance. So, yeah.
Do we have to give a vote to the?
Well, the state has different regulations for law enforcement, and I think they are covered in a different way. Law enforcement officers.
And then no
Yes.
insurance similar to the fire department, but not through for Provident.
Right.
I would like, if Philip would bring to ask for a motion for you to give me permission to share the insurance information, our property, all that with them on Friday.
I'll make a motion.
You right? Okay. Okay. Whatever you said.
I'll second.
And like I said, that's not a thing to change anything.
No, but
It just
it's
gives
just
her
our
a heads up to say
information. I
next year I can save you this much money by going to this company. Same rates, same coverage, same everything, or she can find out more about the Provident and how to get us, it's all taken care of. And then she can she works for a company that does, how do you say that? Underwrite municipalities. Yeah. I'm not sure on the municipal side that's called the same thing, but she said they do underwrite municipalities and they have multiple avenues they can take for those types of things. So,
Junior made a motion and Jeanette second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
We just gotta make sure that our policies cover, like if something happens to the police department.
Yeah,
that they're covered.
I want to make sure that our people that are out there every single day in the streets are covered.
yeah.
Period.
Well, she told me on the phone that there are state things for law enforcement. That it's like a different, kind of like the state handles it themselves. But she said she would dig into that more and have that information for you on Friday.
Yeah, because I know like when I hired in 2.5 years ago under a different administration, I signed a tax form and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same way with us. Like they don't have to fill out the beneficiary forms for Provident down there, but what it does is the state will still pay that out, but it will go into probate. and it will sit in probate until they figure out who the next of kin is and release it to them. So you don't have to fill out a beneficiary form. It just gets you paid a hell of a lot quicker if you do fill it out. So,
And probate on any other thing, like estates and stuff, can be months and months and months and months.
yeah. So in order to keep it out of probate, if you do have something like that, you very well should fill out a beneficiary.
You don't want any of that to go into probate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just gonna cost money, you're gonna have to pay attorneys,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I mean, good for me, but not even.
Right, so, but yes, I would definitely fill out beneficiary, but I mean, like I said, it'll still pay, but it'll go to probate if you don't, so.
So do we want to go ahead with SIP? Strategy,
Sit,
SIP.
sit. I could sit.
So she just needs every policy that you guys had and Hewitt's Ridge approved. So you can get Bowman or sorry, Chris, if you could get, say, we need every policy that we have, and then just, yeah.
That's what I said
Perfect, thank you.
in that email I sent back when I was doing this. You want to go ahead with them? The strategic investment planning.
Based on like the findings. I mean, is there a cost? I mean, like you're just gonna start things up?
That part, I just need to let them know yes or no.
You're asking if just that priority list is
Is-
going to be the official priority list of
Yeah.
the city, right, or the town?
So what's the first and second and like? I mean, I know you have the perp and the sidewalk.
Off the sidewalk and then
The utility garage, blighted
Utility garage.
properties.
And what?
Blighted property.
but the town has to have deeds to the blighted properties.
That's a hard program when the people.
Because there were a couple of them that actually had
Not
arpages
really
on
shared.
nearby.
Me too. Do you have an ordinance in place for blighted?
Yes. I need that. You're right. Same thing for me.
Well, does anyone else have anything they want to add before we ask for a motion to adjourn?
What do you know anything about the signs for the car?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Junior.
We're submitting a request to place a no overnight parking and a 2-hour parking only at both parks, as we're having an issue with disabled vehicles in these areas. So we already have the ordinance. Oh, we just need permission to get the signs.
Right.
So do I need a motion to buy the signs?
Yep.
Does everyone agree that we should put this sign in there? I'll second. Did you make a motion?
I hadn't my mouth.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I second. All in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
Or wrong. You in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. Motion approved.
Welcome, Laura.
Yeah, you went, you spoke for the next 10 meetings.
Sorry. That's what happens when you get a department.
5-minute limit. 5-minute limit.
Considering talking.
Can I recommend you guys look at putting an ordinance in place when the new water project goes through? That when all the fire hydrants are placed, that nobody can paint those damn fire hydrants except for the town or us or whoever. You know, like the one we got that's painted like a dog up off Pfizer and stuff like that.
You know you like training on that.
And we didn't do the dog, but we did the 2 red, white, and blue.
Yeah, well, the reason being is because, you know, fire hydrants will be, and then we're gonna have to look at bans to main size those. So fire hydrants can't be, especially if they have the Storts connection on them, they can actually paint those things shut. And then we'd have a hell of a time getting them open, it's a problem, so, but maybe an ordinance that says, hey, you know, it just more or less say, don't do it. You know, don't paint the hydrants, so.
When the caps either have to be a certain color or they'd have to have a tag on it. Is that right?
Yeah, or you can do reflective bands, and these reflective bands are based off the class of the hydrant. main size and how much the hydrant will flow. And then, some of them are blue, some of them are green, some of them are yellow, it's just, or even black reflective bands that tell us how much that hydrant will flow. So.
They're totally unheavy like ours, bro. Let's wait till we get the new hydrants. I mean, we're getting new hydrants. I don't know. Oh, I thought we were.
Yeah, we're getting new hydrants.
Four or five new ones, and then replacing the ones that we had.
Yeah.
But we got to pay a rental on it.
Well, the new ones are kind of
They'll be the right color on them.
well, they're coming in red, but the Muellers that we're getting are the Mueller hydrants is the brand, but they're coming with the 5-inch Storz connection on the front. See, now we have to take the cap off, screw an adapter on, then put the LDH on. So these will have Storz connections where we just take the hose and go click and it's done. But so if they start painting those Storz connections can get locked up and then we won't be able to get them off. So I would just make sure that that's.
Here's
We still willed them. We prepped them before we didn't do the dog. We just did the 2 red, white pigs. Dwight did the dog because she did the ones in Hagerstown.
Don't get me wrong, he's cute.
Well, I asked Hagerstown if they painted their own. They told me yes.
Yeah. But yeah,
I called the fire department and they said we don't know.
well, some cities will actually do hydrants based on their main size. So some of their hydrants are yellow and black. Some of them are black. Some of them are green. Some of them are blue.
It's not too young.
But no, I would just as soon have all red and then just band them. So
Fabulous.
Okay. Do I have a motion that we adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll say.
She second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.